Welcome to County Kerry for the Killarney Towers Hotel Historic Rally, which kicked off the 2025 Napa Auto Parts Irish Historic Tarmac Rally Championship, and it's also round one of the Wales Motorsport Fabrication Historic Series. Christmas came early for rally fans in the form of two-time World Rally champion Callie Robin-Perra, who was competing in the modified section of the event. Robin-Perra's presence was a major coup for the organisers. Robin-Perra, along with co-driver Joni Hautanen, gave a massive boost to the event's profile, as can be seen from the huge crowds who gathered outside and inside Scruffy's bar for a meet and greet with the Flying Finns. Having accepted Paul Nagel's invitation to compete, excitement had been building as the prospect of seeing the double world champions tackle some of Killarney's iconic stages in Jason Black's 2.5 litre Toyota Starlet. Local favourites Alan Ring and Adrian Deasy are seated third in the BMW M3 and will be looking to go one better than the runner-up finishes in 2021 and 2022. And Ring was delighted to host the former world champion as event sponsor.
I think most of that credit was to go to Paul Nagel. Paul is friends with him and they've been speaking over a couple of times. But Kelly's on a year out, or a part-time year, and he loves driving. So we met him last night and he's very chill and relaxing. We're going in pure Irish style. They're winding him up, telling him he'll be very lucky to get the podium.
While Robin-Perra was rallying in the modified category, there was a 70-car plus entry for the historic category, led by the number one seed, the two-time Killarney Historic Rally winner, Jonathan Greer.
We haven't really done much with the car since last year anyway. It's pretty much as it finished the rally last year, so we'll go out and have a bit of fun and just enjoy ourselves.
When you look at the top 10, there's 10 potential winners there, you know, so let's see what happens tomorrow. Eamon is going to be very, very difficult to get in front of, you know. He's a real formidable driver, you know, and I've sat with him a few times. I raced him in Italy earlier this year and I can't get near him, so let's see.
Keeping it in the family, Eamon Kelly will be a real threat to his father in another BMW M3.
Haven't had much luck down here, but we've acquired an M3 now from Matt's, which are, I hope, a lot more reliable. But there's family rivalry at stake. There's the enjoyment of pushing really, really hard. So yeah, this makes total sense to go flat out.
Everybody comes down to one, I suppose, but it's about who has the luck in the day. And again, the weather's going to be a big part in it this year. You know, it gives the stages are very dirty and slippy, so it'll be interesting to see what way it all plays out.
The 2022 championship winning duo of Neil Williams and Anthony O'Sullivan are seated within the historic top 5 seedings.
It'd be nice to finish strong in an Escort. We've got to forget the four-wheel drive if it's wet, like, you know, and obviously the M3s, they've got much more power than us. But it is wet, supposedly, and damp, so we'll see how we get on. Maybe if an Escort can keep up with it in the damp, well, let's look out.
Adrian Hetherington is competing in a Fiat Abarth.
No real knowledge of the stages, but I've done a good recce and I'm looking forward to a good run, you know.
Fergus O'Mara completes the top 12 on his BMW M3 debut.
The car feels nice. Left and drive is going to be a bit of a challenge too, but look, you know, we'll take it stage by stage and see how we're getting on. We don't expect anything amazing over the weekend, but we'll be happy to finish.
There's any number of potential winners in the modified section, with a lot of Killarney regulars relishing the prospect of competing against the double world champion Robin-Perra, including Rob Duggan, the number one seed in modified in his Ford Escort.
There's a good lineup here, two-time world champion starting with us, good couple of ex-winners here, a lot of local lads that are going to be trying to go for the top spot, so it's not going to be easy at all. We're lucky enough to pull off the win here last year, and hopefully we can do the same tomorrow, but it definitely won't be an easy task.
Also certain to be in the mix, Conor Murphy and Sean Collins, the local crew in the Ford Escort.
Plenty of stiff competition, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the weather will hold up now as the rains after stopping there, so we'll see.
It's not too often to get a world champion in the same class. Anybody in the top, I think 20 is aiming to nearly win it, so you don't know what shoulders to look over.
Well, we should feel privileged to have him here. That's the main thing, but I still don't think he's going to beat the local boys.
With respect to the other competitors, the men they came to see, Robin-Perra and Hautanen, are tackling the famous Malls Gap, Ballochbeema, Cara Lake and Kilcummin stages in the rally's modified category. Robin-Perra will drive Jason Black's Toyota Starlet over the 8-stage event.
Bring on one of the all three grades of the sport. We have double world champion Johnny Rose here and Johnny Hickman. We have a huge Killarney welcome. It's absolutely fantastic to have these men here.
Let's see, it's going to be interesting. I only drove a few kms on the car. The weather was so bad yesterday, so yeah, excited to be back in the starlet. Similar car which I started. This is of course a bit different spec. But yeah, for me it's a new car and new stages. I haven't been rallying with right-hand car ever, so it's going to be definitely a different feeling.
It's one of the coolest national events we've ever been, and we haven't even started the rally, so it's going to be cool.
Rovanperä will return to the World Rally Championship full-time next season with Toyota. Rovanperä only competed in 7 rallies this year after lifting the World Rally title in 2022 and 23, winning 4 events in 2024. And so to the opening stage at Moll's Gap, and we're still in darkness as the crowds once again start to converge on the gap for stage 1. Plenty of traffic and early morning breakfasts being dished out to the early arrivals. The map shows what they face in this one-day event. Moll's, Ballybeema and Cara Lake all done twice. Kilcommon run back-to-back the second time in darkness. As the crowd settle in at the gap, down below at the start line, Johnny Greer gets set to defend his crown in the Sierra Cosworth. Not the most pleasant of conditions for stage 1 with heavy rain. Normally on the Rally of the Lakes, the cars turn left and head down to Kenmare, but for Historics, the drivers take a slight right at the gap. Not such a good start though for Greer. Turbo issues on the opening loop seem to have scuppered his title defence. Eamon Kelly's BMW took advantage of Greer's problems, and by the end of stage 2 the Donegal driver has a 4.7 second lead in Historics. However, although Eamon was quickest on Moll's, he retired after going off the road on Cara Lake. That allowed Donna Kelly to jump into the lead at first service as his BMW led by 16.5 seconds. With on Eamon out, Donna Kelly was now the new historic leader and favoured to win in Killarney for the first time. Second was the Welsh driver Thomas Davies, who started the defence of his Irish Tarmac Historic Drivers title, seated 8th aboard his Ford Escort RS 1800. Davies is a Killarney Historic Rally winner, taking the 2011 edition ahead of Dennis Moynihan's Ford Escort RS 1600.
Oh, out of breath there now. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, felt okay. Bloody on the start line though, on the run out to the start, then the rev counter stopped working, so I was fiddling about with that to the start and then dropped back a couple of places. But yeah, probably it was okay. Still a long way to go.
Third and 12.5 seconds off Davies was another Welshman, Neil Williams, in his Escort RS 1800. Shane Buckley was calling the notes for Williams. Dennis Moynihan has made no fewer than 10 Killarney Historic starts, winning the 2015 and 2018 editions, and he was 4th after 3 stages in the Escort. He and Martin O'Brien were 7.6 seconds off 3rd place as they headed to first service. BMW drivers were well to the fore, with Johnny O'Donnell and Paddy Robinson climbing 2 places after the Cara Lake stage. They were closing in on Moynihan, now 1.3 seconds off the Escort.
2 left, 2 right over bump junction, okay. 40, 2 right plus, and 3 left plus, okay. 2 right and 3 left, okay. 150 over small crest, flat, 1 left long, 130. 1 right, sorry, flat, turn hairpin right, go. Rock inside.
Fergus O'Mara and Mikey Galvin, one-time navigator to the late Craig Breen, went one better, jumping 3 places. By the end of stage 3, there were 6.7 seconds off O'Donnell in the BMW M3. Sadly, this was the first and last we would see of Craig's dad, Ray Breen, and co-driver Damien Morrissey. The pair went out after stage 3 in the Subaru Legacy. Alan Ring admitted he was a bit too careful in the wet conditions, and he was 8th, dropping 2 places after Carroll Lake, but he was only 7 seconds off Fergus O'Mara. Cahan McCourt reported mechanical issues with his Mark II, and he was 12th as they headed for service. John Bonner and Damien McGettigan clipped a rock earlier on Moll's Gap, but they escaped without a puncture and were safely in the top 10 after 3 in the escort. Adrian Hetherington admitted he was nervous tackling the iconic stages in his Fiat Abarth. He was 15th after the opening 3 stages. In 10th, the English visitor Thomas Clerk, who said he was a bit rusty but loving the stages in his Ford Escort.
Just a little bit rusty, and there's loads of fun in there. It's just wicked, and there's spectators everywhere, which makes it even better.
Tom wasn't the only one enjoying the event, as competitors from far and wide were revelling in the challenging conditions. So, after the opening 3 stages in historics on this year's event, Donna Kelly and Rory Kennedy had the lead, 16.5 seconds ahead of Tommy Davis and Shane Buckley. Neil Williams and Anthony O'Sullivan were down in 3rd, Dennis Moynihan and Martin O'Brien were 4th, with John O'Donnell and Paddy Robinson in 5th place. After the break, we'll have all the action from the first run of the modified machinery. Welcome back to the Killarney Towers Hotel Historic Rally, and in part 1 we saw the first 3 stages for the historics. After they had departed, it was the turn of the modifieds, and as we witnessed in part 1, the weather hadn't relented, but still there was a massive crowd in attendance to see the likes of the defending champion Rob Duggan and the 2-time World Rally champion Callie Rowan-Pera. First up, local driver Rob Duggan in the Escort. Duggan set a blistering time on Moll's Gap, as he usually does. His 15-second stage win was made even more impressive, as he said at service that he had a throttle sensor issue on the opening loop. But that didn't seem to hinder Duggan too much. At the end of 3 stages, Duggan's early lead had been reduced to 3.7 seconds.
And flat left into 4 right, 400. Turn 3 right, 100, flat 5 left, and middle over crest, 70, 3 left, minus, and right, and 6 left, and 5 right plus.
Next up came Callie Rowan-Pera, as away he went in his first competitive drive in a right-hand car, with Johnny Heitzman up the iconic stage that is Moll's Gap.
Snarrig oikein täysyyliin. 4, Sidon nyppyrytky, snadi oikein yli, jatkaa rytkyt. 160 yli. 4 aukko. Alussa snadi vasen helppo pidää. 71. Snadi vasen loiva suppuun. Oikein helppo. 5. Lopussa nyt vain täys miinus ja pitkä oikein helppo. Kirraa pidä. Lopussa stop 10 vasen plus älä kääntää. Lopussa 10 vasen plus älä kääntää. Aukee. 4.
But then disaster. Rowan Perez Toyota Starlet ground to a halt for 4.5 minutes on Moll's Gap before driving through the rest of the famous stage.
Sinne lähti sähkö. Mitä tapahtui? Sinne lähti sähkö. 61. Teepäs jotain.
He had got going again, but an electrical cutout had denied Rowan Perez the chance to challenge for modified honours. Thankfully, the issue was resolved to allow the Finn compete in the rest of the rally.
The car shut off on the stage. We don't know the reason. It just shut completely off. Now it's maybe working, so big shame. I had a lot of fun on that stage until the top. We just stopped at the top, so yeah, we need to see if we can drive more. It's a bit dangerous if the car is cutting off by itself, so we need to check.
With Rowan Perez in trouble, Declan Gallagher took advantage, and after Moll's Gap, he began to eat into Duggan's lead as 15 seconds became 9.3 after Ballochbima and 3.7 seconds after stage 3 Cara Lake. The Donegal driver was on it.
Stay mid-long crest here, go, 80 down to a 2 right, 40, here 1 right over drop jump and 2 right over crest jump, 8 up over bumps, mid over crest at the top and flat 230, it's all go, and they keep rattling, go on. Here, slowing 1 left over crest, only 40 to a short 4 right, step in wet. And do a 2 right, go, keep push on now, 2 right, go.
Colin O'Donoghue struggled with a catalogue of mechanical troubles as the car kept going into limp mode. Nevertheless, he was third, 16 seconds off Duggan's lead.
For 3 right, double caution, brake now for 5 left, slippy glass. 5 left, slippy glass. Into 5 right, opens in 40. Flat 2 right, 40. Flat 2 left into double caution, 3 left, tightens the sharp 4. Poke, push out, 120. 4 right, in over crest. Big carry, third gear, 120. Flat 2 left over crest, brakey over 80. For 4 left, in over crest, 40.
Conor Murphy, the local driver, was going well until he and Sean Collins were out of contention after the Mark II Escort went off the road at Cara Lake's finish line. Gary Kiernan was officially fifth after 3 stages in the modifieds. Kiernan is a regular in historics and has been recently dabbling in R5 machinery on the Irish tarmac scene. Jonathan Pringle jumped 2 places to 6 at the end of the Cara Lake stage first time around, 3.6 seconds off Kiernan after battling with his power steering early on Saturday morning. Daniel McKenna, the former British Rally champion, was 7th in the Escort, 3 seconds off Pringle after 3 stages. Chris Armstrong was 8th and 5.4 seconds off McKenna after 3 stages. Armstrong was just ahead of David Moffat, who jumped into the top 10 after 3 stages, gaining 2 places over Cara Lake. A frustrating puncture on Cara Lake, though, cost John O'Dugan over 30 seconds. It pushed him down 5 places from 5th to 10th as they headed to first service. Further back in the field, Cork's Conor Shanahan, together with Andy Hayes. Shanahan is a drifting competitor, putting his skills to good use in the wet stages in the Mark II Escort.
To a 6 left, 60. Care, 5 left over crest, don't cut it. 60 to a care, very long 5 left, tightens to a 4 left over bumps at the wall, slippy. Only 40 then to a 3 right in the slippy. 80 up the middle to a 4 left, don't cut it.
150.
And just a half a second behind, Jack Shanahan, brother of Connor, with Mikey Walsh calling the notes in the Toyota, also using his drifting experience on the Killarney stages.
Yeah, the first loop wasn't spectacular, just kind of on knots and notes and stuff, but been out of the car with quite some time, like, but we're just going to see what happens now. We had one or two little issues, but we got him sorted there in service, so just after resetting now at about D and just kind of ready to go again, and we'll see now if it gets stippy or not.
Yeah, I think we're quite close overall. I think we're in the same position, so there's only like 0.1 between us, so yeah, it'll be a bad job if he beats me in a 2-litre. I'll never hear the end of it, so I'll have to give it a big push now.
As we move back to Historics and their runs over stages 4, 5 and 6, a repeat of Malls, Ballycbeema and Carroll Lake, if anything we witness worsening conditions, and we must spare a thought for the rescue crews on duty along with a host of hard-working volunteers behind the scenes. Rally leaders Kelly and Kennedy extended their lead in Malls Gap, with time only bettered by the Sierra of Johnny Greer. After 6 stages, the Donegal driver was now almost 40 seconds ahead, with 2 runs over Kilcremen still to come. He wasn't quite home and hose, but was now in very good position to win Killarney for the first time.
Use the head now and see if we can just keep a nice steady pace and not do anything silly, you know. But yeah, the last now, Carroll Lake probably just came back a little bit. It was nice and safe. Time was fine, but you know, it didn't go mental.
Thomas Davis was still in second behind Kelly's M3. His focus now was keeping Irish tarmac rival Neil Williams behind in his Escort, despite losing his rev counter. Williams' Escort ground to a halt early on stage 6, Carroll Lake, with a broken timing belt. His push for a podium place was now over. Alan Ring and Adrian Deasy were now in the groove. The pair jumped into third after 6, with Williams' demise.
The second loop went much better for us. We were just too cautious this morning. First time driving BMW in the wet, so we went a lot faster on a few of the stages. This evening it's a very different stage, and again you have the complication of being at night. No idea how we'll go, but we're going to try to go for third. There's not a lot in it, a couple of seconds I think so, but there's not a lot behind us either, so we have to keep going. The plan is to push on.
John O'Donnell was now fourth with 2 stages to go, some 8 seconds off Ring as the battle of the BMWs continued to pace for the podium spot.
And the Titans Beals inside, down to a square. Titans 170. Flat 1 left, don't cut, 470. Flat 1 left, 470. All the way up to the chicane, right entry, 4 wheels.
Fergus O'Mara was still very much involved in that battle for third, 2.4 seconds off O'Donnell's M3.
We were still getting used to it. We missed a few gears and things like that. Second one was better. Up Malls Gap, I think we were second or third fastest, and the same in Carroll Lake, we were third fastest again. And I'm not doing anything wild or anything. I'm just keeping it calm, but enjoying the car. The car is just, you know, there's more in the car. It's just me has to adjust.
Cahan McCourt finally got things going on the second loop in the Mark II Ford Escort.
A few problems this morning there, but we got the car rightly sorted now. Just it's very hard to commit there in the stages, slippy and wet, but you're enjoying it. It's been 2 years since I've been in the tarmac in this car, so it's going to take a wee while just to get back into it again, but no, I'm definitely enjoying the event.
Just behind in 7th place, Mark Falvey, competing in a car of very special significance to Irish rally fans.
Yes, well, this car was used 50 years ago by Billy Coleman to win the British Championship, the first Irishman. And I suppose at the time it was nearly like winning the WRC Championship with all the Finnish drivers and all the international drivers. So he used this car and another car that year to win the championship. So this is done in the colours that he used in the 74 RAC Yeah, we're faring out good there now in the second loop. Sure, we were a bit slow off the mark this morning, but we're getting there now again. It was all practice really, and we just don't have enough of it.
8th after stage 6, John Bonner and Damien McGettigan in the Ford Mark II Escort. Dennis Moynihan, the former winner, was 9th after 6. In fact, Moynihan dropped from 4th to 10th after a time-sapping spin on Moll's Gap.
Yeah, look, the first loop was okay. The second loop was quite slippy, and I spun up Moll's Gap and dropped 30 or 40 seconds. So we'll drive on now in the next 2 stages and try and make back a bit of time, you know.
19th after 3, the defending champion Johnny Greer in the Sierra. He was now up to 10th with 2 to go. He was actually fastest over the gap the second time around. Keith Lyons and Damien Connolly are an R5 regular on the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, but they were out this weekend in an RS 1800 Escort and they were inside the top 20.
Big difference from what I'm used to, obviously, with the R5 and sequential and left hand side of the car. So we're back in right hand side of the car, we're back with H pattern box. So a few things happening today. So today was just get out, enjoy these stages as they are and take it for what they are. I know they say not looking at the times and all that kind of stuff, and we genuinely aren't. We're just trying to enjoy the stages and they're class. Damien Connolly's sitting in with me today. We're having great fun in the car. So, like I said, it's great. No power steering, really enjoying it, really enjoying all those twisty, turny Killarney roads. So, just looking forward to more of it.
So the historic leaderboard after stage 6. Donagh Kelly has got a 37.9 second lead from Thomas Davis. Alan Ring is back in contention for a podium spot in 3rd place, just ahead of John O'Donnell and Fergus O'Mara in the 3rd of the BMWs. We'll have more action after the break from the modified machines. Welcome back to the wilds of a beautiful Kerry in winter and the continuing saga that is the 2024 Killarney Towers Hotel Historic Rally. The scenery is stunning, but the worsening weather isn't making it easy for the remaining cars and crews. As we take a look at the second loop of stages at Moll's Gap, Ballingbema and Carra Lake, as we continue with the modified action over stages 4, 5 and 6. And another rapid time over Moll's Gap extended Rob Duggan's lead over Declan Gallagher, and by the end of 6 stages the lead now stood at 16.3 seconds as the cars reached second service with 2 stages to go.
3 right plus don't cut and flat 4 left 50, care short 3 right plus don't cut 60, 5 right half long tightens 3 right.
From the end of the first stage with the track position issue, just it kept coming in and out, so we've swapped the sensor now. The next one went on Moll's Gap the second time. We've changed it now again at last to them 2, so we might stick in another one now just to get the last 2 stages and hopefully be able to keep the boys behind us.
Gallagher was determined though to keep going in pursuit of the leader, and with the final stage of darkness combined with the worsening weather conditions meant Duggan couldn't totally switch off over the last 2 runs. But Gallagher was lucky to be still in the rally, surviving a big moment on stage 4.
60 to a long fast 4 right, and then you've a 2 left, go 80. Keep push on now, to a fast 3 left here line, and a 3 right stay in, and then you've a 1 left, and a 1 right, 130 chicane right in 3-4 bales. Right.
Not weather, that run, bit of a moment on the gap as well, the second time there, but we were more steady on it, you know. We took no real risks, and you know, we're glad to be here at the second service now, so try and get through this next one now and then into the dark for the last one, but very enjoyable.
Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue were 3rd after the opening stage and remained in that position just over a minute behind the modified leader. Barring any mishaps, 3rd place was probably on the cards.
Long 2 left and 3 right, break on crest for sharp 3 right over crest at the top, and 4 left in over wet into flat 2 right to 60. 1 left and long 2 right tightens to 3 and narrows 20. Sharp 4 left and flat 2 right 60, 2 left and king 4 right.
The former British Rally champion Daniel McKenna was 4th in class in the Mark II, making progression from 8th place position he had inherited after the opening stage. McKenna, however, couldn't relax as he was involved in a rare old battle with Jonathan Pringle, who was in 5th in his escort and just 3 seconds off McKenna. Also involved in the battle for 4th was Gary Kiernan, who was moving up the leaderboard and was just a mere 0.6 of a second behind Pringle.
We're sitting 6th at the minute in the modified, and we're 3.6, I think, off 4th. So plan to go on a wet back tyre now and go on a push for the last 2.
With no sign of the electrical fault returning, Callie Rovan-Pera attacked the stages after service, thrilling spectators with a stage win on the second Malls Gap stage and adding another over Carroll Lake 2. What a rally it could have been had Rovan-Pera's opening stage not gone so wrong for the Finn.
9 yli. Keventää nyppy oikealla 6. Snadi oikea täysyli. 4. Sidon nyppy rytky. Snadi oikea yli jatkaa rytkyt. 160 yli. Huomio, pitkä nyppy, 140 yli. Stop, pikkunyppy 31, ehkä mutta snadi oikein plus. Aukee pisto oikein loiva. Huomio 6 yli. Stop, nyppy 3 oikein, go!
Take any big risks, but of course I'm pushing and I have to give respect to the local guys. It's a big challenge and a lot of fun.
To compete in rallying, one needs a car, and Rovan-Pera was competing in Jason Black's Toyota Starlet. And Jason takes up the story as to how the deal came about with the 2-time world champion.
My brother Gareth and me and Paul Nagel were in actually a pub at Mayo Rally this year, and we kind of laughed about it and joked about it. We said we'll make this happen, and we messaged Callie and he said I'd love to come, and I suppose it spiraled from there. A few setup changes there, and first loop he was the car's a bit soft, but now he's much happier and he set a couple of fastest times, which is great to see.
There was plenty of family involvement in this year's event. Cork drifter Conor Shanahan was going well with his navigator Andy Hayes, who's been a regular co-driver to the former Irish tarmac champion Josh Moffat.
Opens to a 6 left in, 80 to a 5 left, don't cut it the sign, into 4 right in, 100 to a long 5 left over crest, don't cut, and a very long 4 right, continues for 80, nips into a slow crest and a short 3 left, don't cut it. Back to a short 3 left and a short 3 right.
Catch your man then.
Start 3 right here now, this Oilers lad, 100 up the middle.
Connor's brother Jack was not faring as well, with a few technical gremlins spoiling his run a little in the Toyota. It though was keeping it in the family, as their dad himself is a former competitor.
Yeah, I used to be in the good old days, which are, it is good to see them out there. You'd have a tear on the eye and they're going away, and you have a smile on the face when they come back, which is nice, like, you know. Definitely go for a spin next year, 100%.
First time in an S-car, first time in Killarney. I can't complain, you know, it's a different driving style, but had a different kind of push on the last one. I said we'll take a risk and see where we kind of land up, and we were in a good stack of modifieds, you know, like with fast boys, and Moffat, who won Banna, was the second behind us coming off Carroll Lake, so I'm sure if we can maybe stay in it a little bit more, we could be a little bit more competitive for sure.
To be fair, now we've had a tough old morning, so we're just kind of trying to reset now yet again. We went out, we had a bin track rod in the first loop, second loop, had tracking all over the place, so we just couldn't get into it, like it was very all over the place, but we've got a track there now and checked over. We have a little clutch issue as well, so just kind of hoping that it lasts now, and yeah, just once we can do some sort of a push now, we'd be very, very happy.
So as the stage crews raced to get the lamp pods fitted in time for the final 2 evening stages, there was time for a quick cup of tea and a chat with some of the other competitors at this year's Killarney Towers Historic Rally.
So my dad put me into the car when I was 16, started navigating, so I'm at 16 years now, so half my life at it, but we've great crack, so yeah. There's a lot, they're really trying, like they're forming the clubs, they're trying to get the women in, they're advertising for it. There's nothing stopping women from coming in, so like anyone who has an interest in it, definitely be recommending it, it's great fun.
I started rallying in '79 in a Mini. I went about 4 miles on the first stage, broke the crankshaft, but I was totally, utterly hooked. And after a few years with the Mini, I went to an escort, and we won the Circuit of Munster first overall with that. This is the actual car I'd won. I'd nearly forgotten that I had won it with this, but she was a super car. And Tommy McDonough has it now, and that's when I got into the Volvo. And I just love the Volvo, I'll be honest. Much on it's a lovely car, I still prefer the Volvo. My confidence isn't what it should be. No, I only got one fright all morning, and that means I'm not trying hard enough. So really, truly, I have to get the finger out and go a little bit harder.
Yeah, it was Barry Duggan's car originally. He finished 4th in the Rally Lakes here many years ago. He's actually my father's first cousin, so it's nice to still have it in the family, and everything's going fine. You know, she's upgraded a bit since then, I suppose, but yeah, we're having a good day. Conditions are tricky, but it's enjoyable at the same time, yeah.
We've got a bit of a misfire in Molescap, so we had to stop at the end and change some spark plugs, so we lost a bit, to be fair, but still going, so enjoying, all good fun.
I was here 3 years ago with the car, just didn't go right, but I always wanted to get back. There's 24 of us down, so it's just a good weekend away before Christmas now for the boys, so good crack.
So as night falls and darkness descends, let's take a look at some of the action from the local clubmen and women further down the field. So, after 6 stages with 2 to go, Rob Duggan and Ger Conway lead in the Ford Escort in the modifieds by 16.3 seconds. Declan Gallagher and John McCarthy not quite out of it yet in the Toyota Starlet in second place, ahead of the O'Donohues, Daniel McKenna and Jonathan Pringle, and Pierce O'Callaghan in 5th place. Join us shortly for the final action on the 2 stages over Kilcommon as we run down through the class winners as well as the overall in both the modified and historics. Welcome back as we now cover the final 2 stages as the overall in both the modified and historics are decided. But first we'll run down through the class winners, beginning with Class 1, which was won by Kevin Flanagan and Mark Riley in their Austin Mini Cooper S. Class 2 went to Colin Fitzgerald and Ian McCarthy in their Mark II Ford Escort. Class 3 went to another Ford Escort Mark II, driven by Cathal Mulcair and navigated by Podge Doody. Class 4 victors, the veteran Lloyd Hutchinson and Willie Fitzpatrick in their Austin Mini Cooper. Class 5 victors, Donagh Crowley and Dennis Nagel in a Mark II Ford Escort. Class 6 in 3rd place, Jack Shanahan and Mikey Walsh in their Toyota. 2nd place in Class 6, Aaron McIntyre and Derry Long in the Toyota Starlet. They had been leading in class, but after an off-road mishap on stage 4, they were happy to finish 2nd in class. And the winner of Class 6, Aidan Burke and Pierce Jr. Doheny in their Ford Escort Mark II. On to B2, the winners there, Joe White and Des Sherlock in their Morris Mini Cooper. Class B3 victors, Tom and Helen Slattery in the Mark I Lotus Cortina. Class B4 victors, Peter and Billy Neville in the Volvo. Class B5 went to James O'Mahony and Gary Gallagher in the Volvo 144. The Hillman Avenger of Edward Colton and Enda Shields won Class C3. 2nd in Class C5, Craig and Guy McWilliams in the Ford Escort RS 1800. While victory in that class went to the Mark I of Padder and Grace Walsh. D2 victors, David Goose and Ashley Trimble in the Ford Escort. An RS 2000 driven by Alan Watkins and navigated by Owen McCarthy won Class D3. While Andrew Johnson and James McSherry's Vauxhall won Class D4. Liam Regan and Andrew Bush in the Skoda Estelle won Class F1. Class F2 won to Gary Rogers and Eric Calnan in the Vauxhall Nova. John Mead and Ol Mulcahy won Class F3 in the Peugeot 205. while Paul Ahern, along with Kieran Murphy in the BMW M3, won Class F4. Ahern is co-sponsor of the Kilcrummon stage through his car dealership. The rain rarely relented all day at this year's event, as the wet rally got even wetter on stage 7 as the crews tackled Kilcommon for the first of 2 runs. But that didn't deter the crowds from coming out on all of the stages, including 1 or 2 familiar faces, as we run through the finishing order and the top historics. 11th place, Adrian Hetherington and Gary Nolan in the Fiat Barth. Into the top 10, Dennis Moynihan, the former winner, and co-driver Martin O'Brien in the Ford Escort. They were in the top 10 and 3 seconds ahead of Hetherington at the finish. 9th, John Bonner and Damien McGettigan in the Ford Escort Mark II. Fergus O'Mara and Mikey Galvin had a spin on stage 7 in the BMW M3. It cost them any chance of a podium, and they were 8th. 7th, Johnny Greer and Niall Burns in the Ford Sierra. Greer couldn't defend his title this year. 6th, Mark Falvey and James O'Brien, another veteran co-driver. The pair were 6th in the Ford Escort RS 1600. 5th, into the top 5 after a cautious enough start, Alan Ring and Adrian Deasy in the BMW M3. Cathal McCourt got things together to finish in 4th place alongside Barry McNulty in the Mark II, a minute and 15 seconds off the overall winner. 3rd, John O'Donnell and Paddy Robinson in the BMW M3, an excellent day's work for the M3 pair.
Into 6 left again, narrow, the second one's narrow, 40, 5 right, 24 left over crest, and flat 1 right half long, 130 down the middle, for turn square right, 40, turn square left narrow, 40, John, you're unsteady up a wee bit, man.
Second, Thomas Davies and Shane Buckley in the Ford Escort Mark II. The historic Irish Tarmac Rally champion, Davis, made a perfect start to his title defence, scoring top championship points. And once his son Eamon had retired, Donagh Kelly then held the lead till the finish. It was Kelly's first rally win since the 2020 Mayo stages, and Kennedy's first victory in Killarney since the year 2000 at the Rally of the Lakes. The Donegal pairing finished 23.7 seconds ahead, and as the ceremony of finish coincided with the Killarney Christmas Parade, it was a very festive conclusion to the Killarney Towers Hotel Historic Rally.
It's fabulous to come back and get the win. After last year we were so close, 3.7 seconds, and to get across the line this year is brilliant.
Killarney's a fantastic event, and you only have to look around you tonight at the crowds that have turned up here at the finish ramp. Like, Killarney Motor Club deserve incredible credit for running such a good event, and we're delighted to be part of it.
Let's move on to the top modifieds then, but sadly issues on the final stage saw Jonathan Pringle and Pearse O'Callaghan retire agonisingly close to the finish. 10th overall, it was Chris O'Callaghan and Kenny Traynor in the Mark II Ford Escort. They were just behind another Mark II Ford Escort of Patrick McHugh and Richard Cleary. Eighth, David Moffat and Martin Connolly in the Toyota Starlet. While 7th was Chris Armstrong and Connor Smith in the Ford Escort. John O'Dugan recovered from his spin on the gap early on to finish in 6th place alongside Paul Lennon in their Mark II Ford Escort. Back on two-wheel drive, Gary Kiernan and John McCabe in the Ford Escort, a creditable 5th. Daniel McKenna and Andrew Greenan in the Ford Escort Mark II. The pair lost 4th place actually on Kilcommon first time around, but regained it over the second run over the stage. In 3rd place, Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue. Excellent day's work in the Ford Escort Mark II.
120 past the fence for double caution. Watch crest into long, 3 left. Nips late. Into flat 2 right. 80 down the middle for watch braking turn. Square right opens. And square left narrows, push out of it. 20. Flat crest. 60, caution, middle over crest and yellow.
Declan Gallagher had kept Rob Duggan on us right until the penultimate stage, and the Donegal driver was glad to survive the stage after a big moment in his Toyota Starlet and took the runners-up spot. So back-to-back wins for Rob Duggan and Ger Conway in the Ford Escort.
Push 100 over crest to 5 right minus water 100, 5 left narrows and 5 right plus 80. Water, middle over flat crest 100, 6 right and 6 left minus, okay, 150, water, crest 70, sharp 3 left plus.
The pair clipped the bank on the final stage but escaped with cosmetic damage and won modified by 18.3 seconds.
We had 20 seconds going into the last stage, and I think we backed off maybe a little too much. Just the first corner, cold tyres just slid wide and touched the bank, but look, we pulled it off in the end, so I suppose that's all that counts. Great to battle with all the guys, the past winners and all the locals gunning for us there this morning, so it's a nice one to pull off, especially with the two-time world champion starting right behind us on the road. I think that's a one we'll cherish, and yeah, it's a happy memory and it'll stay with us for a long time, so yeah, delighted.
And finally to the flying Finn, Cally Rovan-Pera, who eventually finished 15th in modified in the Toyota Starlet. The fact that he was 15th was of little relevance really, as it was his presence that really enhanced the event, and the fact that he actually got to the finish ramp.
9. Ahdas, snadi vasen oikein täysmiinus, pikkurytky. Pinta 3 oikein helppo, pullyhyt vasen eri. 9 yli. Huomio puolipitkä oikein täys top 7. Piilosta liukas kapea oikein hidas risteys älä. 100. Tarkka vasen täysmiinus yli pidä.
The near 5-minute loss on stage 1 cost Rovan-Pera any chance of challenging for the modified win, but a big up to the organising club and indeed Paul Nagel for getting a 2-time World Rally champion to Killarney in the first place.
Myself and Jason and Garrett Black, we were chatting in a bar where all good deals are put together, and sent a message to Cally, and it kind of took off from there. And it was probably a joke at the start, but then it got serious around the middle of the summer, and a lot of hard work, and it's been brilliant to have him here. It's absolutely superb.
And with a burnout, it was back to the day job for the Finn, Cally Rovan-Pera. He'll tie up with Toyota for the opening round of the World Rally Championship in Monte Carlo, as we got a final word with the club chairman, Tommy Randalls, and our clerk of the course, Anthony O'Connor.
Fair play to Anthony O'Connor, our CFC, and the team. What work goes in on these rallies behind the scenes is absolutely huge. This scene in Killarney tonight was absolutely fabulous.
It's been a great event, fantastic entry, fantastic crowds of people around the town all weekend. The star attraction was the 2-time world champion, Cally Rovan-Pera. It's fantastic to see a guy like him wanting to come to Killarney. The marshals and the timekeepers who stood out in absolutely atrocious weather so that we could run the event, and to those I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I was very, very lucky with the team around me, very, very lucky with the people here in the municipal district of Killarney, and I want to thank Lieber, especially Martin Crean and his staff back there, who allow us to use their car parks for the service area. The other thing is the residents out on the stages, who with their goodwill allowed us to close roads for the day to go rallying. So, got a meal of
And so to the overall results then. In modifieds, the winner was Rob Duggan ahead of Declan Gallagher, Colin O'Donoghue, Daniel McKenna in 4th and Gary Kiernan in 5th place. While in the historics, a first win in Killarney for Donna Kelly ahead of Thomas Davis, John O'Donnell in 3rd place, Cahan McCourt was in 4th, and local man Alan Ring finished in 5th place. That's it from the 2024 Killarney Towers Historic Rally. For me, John Kenny, and all the crew, it's bye for now. For those of you watching on YouTube, we leave you with some more action from across the 8 stages of the Killarney Towers Historic Rally.